So, welcome to today's episode of True Talk, where we are going to have an unapologetically true and authentic and imperfect conversation with yet another amazing woman doing amazing things. So, welcome to Miss Stone Franklin. So, let me do this introduction so I can get it right.
Okay.
So today's guest is a true force of creativity, courage, and cupcake magic. Miss Stone Franklin is a brilliant and bold founder of What Kind Cupcakery. Is the brilliant and bold founder of What Kind Cupcakery. It's a business she started in undergrad, right? With nothing but a sweet tooth, a dream, and a whole lot of hustle.
Right.
After a recent pivot from teaching full time to going full time in entrepreneurship, Stone is rebuilding her business from the battered up, right? Mixing it, y'all. With an MBA in her pocket, that's a master's degree in business administration.
Okay.
Ooh, degree up. And a fresh vision in her heart and a goal of scaling to 7 figures in 3 years. She's got a story full of lessons, laughter, and legacy in the making. I've been honored to be her mentor for the last couple months, but I actually started out as her professor about 10 years ago, actually, right?
Oh, yes.
10 years ago. But I know full hand, she is an open book, y'all. She's an open book. I asked her one time, I'm going to ask you a question that I don't normally ask people. I don't ask them questions, I just let them share with me. But she said, oh, no, you can ask me anything. I'm an open book. And she has proven herself to be just that. But I've also known her to be a resilient entrepreneur who's not afraid to mix things up and start over.
Right.
So grab a snack, preferably a cupcake from What Kind Cupcakery, and let's get ready to have some rich, authentic, real conversation with Miss Stone Franklin.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
You make me feel all official and stuff.
You are official.
Period.
Yeah, so let's start from the beginning. What inspired you to start What Kind Cupcakery in undergrad, and how in the world did you come up with this name that my baby still is trying to get right?
Okay, so I came up, when I started What Kind Cupcakery in undergrad officially, what inspired me was I had a class, Dr. White, and in her class I had to create a business. And at the time, I was so adamant about being a business consultant. And then Dr. White was just like, well, how you gonna have a business consultant business and you don't have a business? I said, ooh, caught that. And so I was like, well, in high school, I did have to create a business for my economics class, and I could just bring that back. And so once I brought it back, I got all into it, the color theory and just the different elements when you starting up a business. And I started baking. Once I started baking, people started gravitating towards it, professors like yourself, and the students. And it was eventually my gas money, helped me pay my rent and all of those things. So I kept going because I saw that it was something that I can make profitable, and it was something that I could do. And I came up with the name because in high school, I would have the cupcakes during lunchtime, not lunchtime, breakfast. And when everybody is in the lunchroom eating their breakfast, they always rush up to me and they say, well, what kind of cupcakes you got today? And so I was doing my economics project with my bestie, and I said, well, we ain't got to think of a name. We can just say what kind. And so, because everybody already asked me what kind. And so then once I got to undergrad, my name was What Kind Inc. But you can't, you can't have an incorporated business, like, no. So when I got to undergrad, Dr. White was just like, you need to find another name to not only be legally right, but also tell the people what it is that you do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So just so you know, you can't have an ink You can't have a corporation. However, you must go through the proper channels to incorporate your business. Right? That is, you get in really big trouble for saying Inc. or LLC, all that, when you don't have the proper paperwork.
Exactly.
Yes, so let's shout out Dr. White for just making sure we had that
proper alignment.
Yes, exactly. Now, you told me recently, actually my class, because we're doing a case competition. She told my class, y'all, that when I tasted her cupcakes back in 2015, I think, somewhere like that, that I told her that her cupcakes was dry. I don't remember that.
Y'all, I remember I was in her office and I was sitting in front of her and she tasted the cupcake in front of me. I was like, oh Lord Jesus. But it was positive criticism. You know.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad that you listened to me, and that's actually why I'm bringing it up now, because like I said, I'm mentoring you. You have been one of, in my eyes, the best mentees that I've ever had.
Oh.
And it's not just because, well, let's just break it down. Like if I tell you something, you do it. Sometimes I don't even tell you to do it. I just say, this is what you could do, or this is, how about this? And she'll say, I did what you told me. I did what you told me and it worked. I did what you, I can't let Professor Turner, be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I say that you're one of the best because you believe that I can help you get to where it is you want to be.
Right.
And that means a lot to me as a coach and as a consultant, as a mentor, as a professor, as your friend. And, I value that. So let's talk for a minute, because I forget sometimes what I tell people. What piece of advice have you gotten from me that has worked the best for you?
So you always have a focus on the numbers, and I know that's in alignment too. I always focus on the numbers, because even when I was teaching, they used to always say, numbers don't lie. And so the number one thing that you always tell me, what are your numbers? How much it costs to do this? How much it costs to do that? Well, what you getting from this? And so because of that, before I would just, let me go to the store and buy this stuff, and whatever I make off of it is what I make. But now it's like a little bit more, not a little bit, but it's more intentional, because I hear Professor Turner in the back of my head. Okay, what's the numbers? What's this? And so that is one of your biggest things to me that you operate from, which is what are the numbers?
Okay, all right, good. And true talk, sometimes I have to remind myself in my business, like, what are the numbers? What are you doing right this month? What are you doing wrong? What's your long-term strategy? What's your plan to execute? And sometimes I don't always get it right.
Right.
So I want you to know that, and I've told you that before. Like I might tell you something that might not work.
So we both have to agree on it essentially. So sometimes I sit there and ponder, and I'm an overthinker, y'all. I have what they call rolling anxiety. So I just sit there and think and think and think. And if it makes sense in my head, then I'm gonna go for it every time.
Yeah. That's good. Rolling anxiety. Okay. All right. So we're not gonna claim that anymore.
No more. Okay.
No more. Right? We're gonna call it rolling creativity. If it does anything that makes you anxious, we're getting rid of that.
Period. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you mentioned you were a full-time teacher. What made you shift to full-time entrepreneurship?
I got forced.
What does that mean? You got forced?
I got forced, yeah. I really did love my kids. And my first set of kids, I started teaching them when they was in the 6th grade. Y'all, they graduated this year. They're 18. They graduated. And so for a long time, the initial plan was graduate from FAMU, go teach for, I think my timeline was 5 years. And once I complete my 5 years, I get out, I have enough to start my business and go full time. But y'all, the money was so good because they deemed me one of the top teachers in Florida. And so they were just,
You don't just get that title. Why? How?
Okay, so the same sixth grade class that I was my first year teaching on, because I still had the SBI principles within me. So my first year teaching, I ran my classroom like a business. And so I found out, the deficiencies that each student had, and I, focused on the overall goal. And so by the end of my year after testing was done, 75% of my students were proficient, and I think another good number were grade level. And that's not something that you do at a D school. And so because I did that at a D school, they were, you know what I'm saying, they were throwing it back, And so once I seen like what was possible, you get comfortable and you get content, because my daddy was a principal, my mama highly effective teacher, my auntie, she's a highly effective principal here. All my people are in education, so it comes natural to me. But in my last year of teaching, which was 2024, when I was going through grad school and all of those things, it got a little rocky, because before I started that year, I heard God say clear as day, focus on your business. It didn't make sense. And sometimes in business, and especially when you have faith, some of the things that God tell you ain't gonna make sense. You ain't gonna see exactly what you need to see. Sometimes it's literally God saying, will you trust me? And will you walk by faith and not by sight? Period. And I did. I wanted money. and so when I went to start back teaching, they played with my money so bad, y'all. And so to the point where I just couldn't do it no more. And it was too much of stress going from school to school for my master's, and also teaching and also running the business. So I was forced to quit. My principal at the time told me, hey, don't come back. Boo-hoo cried like a baby. If anybody know me, I'm a baby when it comes to crying. I cried, but it forced me out of my comfort zone. And a lot of times, you get so comfortable in your routine till you never take a leap. Yeah.
So now, you talked about being in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about being forced out of teaching. You've mentioned to me that you've had some financial struggles recently.
Mm-hmm.
How have those challenges shaped you as a business owner?
As crazy as it sounds, I'm so grateful for every little hurdle, that I've been through financially, because one, it taught me how resilient I am, and even though I said a million times, oh, I should have just gave up, it's something in me, y'all, that I want to just rip it out. It would not let me give up. And then when it won't let you give up, then God do something crazy, put the right people in your life to help you keep going. And so with these hard times that I've had, me losing two buildings in Quincy, literally being behind, and like I said, I'm an open book, I don't care. Because guess what? You true talk, go help somebody else.
Yes.
And so a lot of people like to paint this pretty picture of entrepreneurship, like once you start making your own money, it's gonna be easy. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But it also helped me to be flexible. It also helped me to recognize who and what kind of resources I have. And it also taught me where my help come from. Because I think a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, you get wrapped up in, I got this and I got that, and I could talk a lot of junk, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you. But it also taught me it's some genuine people out there, as many as people that's trying to bring you down, it's twice as many that's rooting for you.
Right.
So that's what it's shown me through everything, and that if it was supposed to take you out, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
So keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. And you have kept going.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping going took you from Quincy, your hometown, where you held on tight. You did not want to leave Quincy, to Tallahassee.
Mm-mm.
And can you talk to us about that transition to Tallahassee, why you did it, and how it's going?
Okay. I transitioned to Tallahassee from Quincy. First of all, I did it because, like I said, I got kicked out of two buildings. Um, and for a long time, it has been placed on my heart to like leave Quincy. Not because Quincy didn't have good people shopping with me and indulging, but I think it was just the cause of it's time for you to go to your next level. It's time for you to experience your next season. But once again, y'all, I'm in my head like, oh my God, I don't know nobody in Tallahassee. I'm gonna have to start from the bottom up. I'm gonna have to do this and I'm gonna have to do that. But guess what? When I got moved out of that first building that I was in Quincy, I was starting all over again anyways. So instead of me being obedient and starting over that one time, I had to start over twice. And still end up doing what I was told to do in the beginning.
Wow.
So I delayed the process. And a lot of it came from fear of the unexpected because I just couldn't. I like to think of everything that's going to happen before it happened. And this whole previous year and a half, everything been unpredictable.
Yeah. And for those who are from Quincy or they live in Quincy and you're like, she left us or she got brand new, that is so far from the truth because when I reconnected with you, you were in Quincy and you were open 7 days a week. And proudly.
Yeah.
And you put some force behind it. No, I'm not leaving Quincy. No, I am not being closed any day because the people need their cupcake. Right? And I'm like, but you need rest. And so we had our very first competition in fall 2024. After class, one day a student said, we gotta get you from Quincy to Tallahassee, and you gotta shut down for a couple days. And she said, I'm not leaving Quincy. I'm not doing it. Right. And as for closing, why? I thought I was like, oh, why you being so aggressive to this student? But quietly, why? And he explained, and it was so interesting because a short time after that, I remember where I was when we were talking about this. You said, I've thought about it and I have some decisions to make and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to move to Tallahassee and I'm gonna close 2 days. And I said, oh, wow. I appreciated that you came to that realization and that, reality by yourself. But you all, true talk, she didn't have to look for a building when she said, I'm moving to Tallahassee. Because when she talks about God told her to do something and she was still holding on, she had two divergent thoughts going on. Because what did you have in Tallahassee?
Y'all, I already had a building in Tallahassee. I didn't have the building for about a year. When I got kicked out the first building, I had another building in Tallahassee. But ego and pride kept me in Quincy. I was just like that. Nobody gonna kick Stone. I'm Big Stone. You ain't gonna kick the cupcake lady out of Quincy. I'm the one. And it's so conceited and it's so ego filled. And sometimes you do go through situations to remind you like, God can replace you just like that. And so I was just like, well, I'm the one that brought entrepreneurship to the square because true enough, nobody said businesses worked in Quincy, so nobody wanted to do it. And that's why I wanted to do it because it was no businesses. I'm an SBI by heart and on my piece of paper that say my MBA, fulfill a need. It was nobody in Quincy serving cupcakes like how I was. And so I filled it. And so you mean to tell me I started something and now I got to leave what I started? That, so naturally in my head it made sense to, plant my feet on the ground and say, like my name is Stone, so a stone is heavy, it's unmovable, and it stay there. So, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to stay because can't nobody move me. If I move, it's because I want to.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's because you wanted to, but God told you to move, and you were being a little disobedient.
Yeah.
And when you submitted, because you didn't just, like, honestly, I think that even though you said you started this because you really wanted to do consulting, and Dr. White got you right, you have a love for this, and God has blessed you with this. And so if you trusted him the first time, trusting him all the way through is going to be better. We talk about like what you do, what, it has to make sense, it has to be profitable. The most profitable you can be is listen to God. Come on, somebody.
And it was when I was in SBI. We went on this JKIC conference. Dr. White, once again, took me on this conference. And I think the man, first name was Ed. I don't know his last name, but he was one of the speakers at the conference. So I stood in line to take a picture with him. And this man started praying over me. Right. And he said, in Deuteronomy, I can't really pronounce it, chapter 8, verse 18. Keep God first and everything will be added unto you.
Yes.
And he said you're going to be very successful, but you got to keep God first.
Wow.
And so he was like, you ain't going to understand what I mean. Because I was like, what you talking about? And then he said, you ain't going to understand it right now, but later on you will. And so just to add on to your point, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, but I have to surrender to my will and my way and how I think things are supposed to go, and just say, God, I trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it, and that's true talk. So let's talk legacy.
Okay.
We mentioned Dr. White several times. She's a person near and dear to both of us. She talks about dynastic wealth, not just generational wealth, but dynastic wealth. Number one, do you know what dynastic wealth is? Yes. But then also, when you picture what kind Cupcakery being a $1 million plus business, what impact do you want to leave in the community, in the industry, and in your family?
Okay, so that's a loaded question, you know what I'm saying? But with dynastic wealth, it is where generational wealth is passed down, wealth is passed down to 3 or more generations. And so when I think about my business and the wealth that I wanted to create for the community, first of all, the reason why I started in Quincy, because I wanted Quincyans and my students, because that's who I employed with my students, because I wanted them to see like you can do it. And so I want the impact that WKC has on the community is you don't have to have a silver spoon to start. I started on the side of the road, out of the trunk of my Nissan Altima. You know what I'm saying? I was on the south side, in my apartment, serving people. And so what I want people to know is just like in the community and in the impact on the community is you don't have to have it all together.
Good.
Just get started.
Ooh, that is good. Start scared and all. That actually is like why I'm doing this podcast. Hair undone, nails not done, like just not ready. But I said I can't keep waiting because I've said this and I have to be careful how I say it. But God knows me. We have a very intimate relationship. I said, you know what, God's gonna get tired of waiting on me because he has so much in my belly. Like I have this burning in my heart to help people to do these things, not any of it for money, but just for helping people. But I'm scared.
Yeah. And I think whenever we are making an impact, that's our initial, because sometimes the enemy will have you believing in fear, and then in return, we let fear paralyzes us
Yes.
and stop us from reaching our destiny. And I can talk about that because I also started, let's be real, I also started the business because my mom, she had a daycare. And with that daycare, my uncle, the true talk, my uncle took it from her, essentially. And I had dreams of growing up and running that daycare. So when it got took from her, I'm like, great day. You know, I wanted to run a business, now I got to start all over. Mind you, my mama had a wait list. It was always packed, so it was third around. All I had to do was just hop in there, take over, and drive my Range Rover. That's in my mind. But so when I started the business, I said, I'm not letting anybody help me because I'm fearful of how it will affect me. And I don't want somebody to feel like they got their hand in the pot and then they try to take the whole thing. And so that's my thing as well. So when you say fear, sometimes it's because of, you know, past things and past traumas that you experienced like I have. But we also have to come to the conclusion, like, we just can't. Because what are we blocking? Because of being fearful. And look how many people that WKC probably would not have touched, or the story that I would not have told if it was for fear.
Yeah. So this will be probably aired later, will be, you know, put on YouTube later. But today is July 1st.
Yes.
I have a program that I run through True Dream Business Solutions, aka True Biz, but it's a financial fitness program where I help people get their money in shape. I have a special program and a brunch where it's called the Best Half Brunch and the Best Half Boot Camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that you have to make this last half of the year your best half. And so it requires of you to start doing something better. You gotta, you know, reduce your expenses. You gotta increase your income. You gotta, you know, get rid of some unwanted or unused subscriptions. But I have all these things, but there's so many things that you can do to do better. It is not by accident or coincidence that we're having this session on July 1, because this is my push to say, you gotta make this last half your best half. Scared and all, I'm doing it. Ironically enough, and I'm actually gonna do this tour, but ironically enough, I am in my cousin's, and she's my little, because I used to say, how old are you, Jazz? You 12? She's cousin Shay, I'm 16 now. Like, she would remind me that she was getting older. But we're sitting in her new consulting and creative space. Do you know her first official day of business? Yes.
28th? 25th?
July 1st. She is making the last half of the year her best half until we go to next year.
Oh,
you said the 28th of June?
Yeah.
You know what that was?
What?
That was a ribbon cutting and a brunch and a prayer over her business with the people who she thought were the closest and who were going to connect her and help her grow. Now, that might not mean a lot to most people, but this is big, right? This is big. And not only has she opened this space and it's July 1, I don't think that she had, I think we might be the first. Are we the first? Are we the first? We are the first. So Miss Cynthia, her podcast, Miss Stone, her podcast, we're the first right here. That's a really, really big deal. This creative space, this consulting space, I know that God put something in her. And you know what she just told us? She's brand spanking new in the world of entrepreneurship. And right here, she has 3 women who have been knee deep in entrepreneurship 10 years plus. That's not by mistake. That's not by coincidence. Um, I want to make sure that I give space for Jazz as soon as I give the closing questions, because this really is a big deal, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Stone,
Mm-hmm.
you're an open book.
Yes.
Tell them something that they don't already know that will help them from your open book.
Something that they don't know already that will help them.
Mhm. Or help you by saying it. It doesn't matter. Just to prove. This, like, we at the circus and everything, and it's like, you have the circus act come out, and it's like, no, this is fake, and you prove it, and like, what? To prove she's an open book was something that you can tell them that will help them or help you by saying it.
It's a lot I can say. But something that proves that I'm an open book. Just when you get in a predicament, that you fully trusted the people around you. You fully trusted the people that were supposed to be the closest to you. You ever heard that song, I Paid the Shipping Cost?
Mm-hmm.
He said you're sleeping with the enemy.
Oh.
You ever heard that?
Wow, I didn't hear that part.
It's in the beginning. but yeah, sometimes you find yourself surrounded by people that you think gonna nurture you and cultivate you to be in this space of growth. Mm-hmm. And when you find out that they aren't, a lot of times we wanna beat up on ourselves and make it seem like, oh, I should have seen better. And you mentioned something before about a superpower. Mm-hmm. And being able to see through the BS. Mm-hmm. And so when you can't see through that BS, you got to move with grace. Mm-hmm. When you can't see through that BS, you got to say, you know what, but God. Yes. And that's my open book. You're sleeping with the enemy. And that's all I got to say sometimes.
You know what? That reminds me, before we go to our last question, that reminds me, I heard a sermon one time, and he said, everybody ain't your friend, mm-hmm. They just scared to be your enemy. Mm. And so we have to make sure that we can discern who those people are, and they often disguise themselves by sleeping with you. Mm-hmm. And sleeper doesn't have to be like that person who's, mm-hmm. That, mm-hmm. Yeah, physical part of it. But they'll sleep with you, they'll drink with you, they'll talk to you. It'll look so much like friendship.
And you know what? And that's what I can say in reference to just us, right? In our relationship that I have. You never tried to put ideas in my head. You just, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And so what I've noticed previously with people that wasn't sent for me, just sent to distract me, they'll try to sell me a dream. Or try to oversell their position in my life. And sometimes that's the number one telltale sign is, hey, if you got to realize when you're an entrepreneur and you own to something with your business, your light shine bright. And the light can shine bright in the darkest of times. Mm-hmm. So you attract darkness, essentially. And that's why every entrepreneur that I talk to, I believe they talk about God so much because they need their help. Yes. They need their cornerstone. Yes. And so a lot of times when we get in business, we attract the wrong people that just want to buy in to get a piece of the pie. Yeah. But for the people that's truly meant for you and sent for you, you told me this one time, I'm helping you because I believe in you. Mm-hmm. Not because I want anything from you, just because I see you doing what you're doing, and I want to see you progress. So,
I want to see you win.
right.
Yeah, so how I like to close out all of my episodes before I start tearing up here. What's one question that you would ask me if you were to interview me? What's one question?
One question that I would ask, I'm gonna switch it up. Okay, so you know me, I'm a single entrepreneur, 29 years old. I'm 29, y'all. And so if you believe, if you can go to my time when I first started, what's some things that you think is very important for a first-time entrepreneur to know before they get their feet wet?
Okay, so you just leaned in and said, I'm 29, y'all. I just realized I'm old enough to be your mama. Shoot, I might be older than your mama now that I think about it, but yeah, wow. Ooh, thank goodness that hit different. But I would tell you, do you have proof of concept? Meaning, do you have a profitable idea? Will people buy from you? Are you meeting an unmet need?
Mm-hmm.
And then, do your numbers show that you can be profitable? Right? That bottom line, so people have restaurants, we'll just say cupcakes. If somebody says, oh, you got the best cupcakes in the world, that doesn't mean you can open up a cupcake shop and be successful.
Right.
Restaurant owners get in trouble. They open and they close. Why? Because, oh, I know how to cook, so I'm gonna open up a restaurant. You don't even need to know how to cook to be a restaurant owner. You need to know how to run a business first and foremost. And so I would tell you that then after you have the proof of concept and the proof of profit, you gotta go for it, you gotta go all in, you gotta make wise decisions with your money, with your time, with your energy, with your products. Bottom line, like you have to do that.
Okay, I got another question.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is gonna be my last one. Okay.
Because I know you get ask me about 10.
Yeah. So, say for instance, when I first started out, I was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the numbers, I had the proof of concept, I knew it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I'm an SDIan, come on now,
Yeah.
And so, but
Taught you well.
right. Do you believe sometimes one of our biggest drawbacks is holding on to a 9-to-5 instead of taking the brakes off?
Ooh.
When you got the money saved up? Okay.
So you know how when a preacher says something, it's like, ooh, he coming out my pew and yeah, that's where you're going. So the other part is too, you have to keep your personal money and your business money separate. That from that last question of teaching that first started, you have to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
If you start with clean books, it's better than trying to clean books up.
Y'all, that was my fault. It got tough. I had to split combine, but you ain't supposed to do that. Don't do that.
Right.
But yeah, you good.
Yes. So then the other question, answering your specific question. Remind me of the question again, because sometimes when you ask me questions, like my mind goes to 12 different places because I got 6 different streets I can go down, and then it makes me think of something. I just had one of those moments.
I have it all the time. So my question was, I had proof of concept.
Yeah. Oh, 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I was running from the question. That's what that was.
Oh yeah.
So I've been in business over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well over 20 years. I've been gainfully employed for over 20 years. Actually, next month I'll be celebrating 25 years as a career professional.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in business all but 2 of those years.
Mm-hmm.
So the question you're asking me is stepping on my toes, saying, okay, did you get too comfortable? And the answer is yes.
Mm.
The answer is yes, I have to admit that. And you know why? Because I have the setup, the experience, the clientele to be $1 million business in both of my businesses and both of my brands.
Right.
But I don't need it enough. I ain't hungry enough.
Right.
Because it's like I'm comfortable. I make really good money in almost everything, you know, I touch. And so if I had to rely on my photography business money, and that's not me just earning that money and then spending it, I would have to pay myself. You have to pay yourself as an employee.
Right.
Right. But if I paid myself, I would be good, but I didn't do that. So if I would have done what I was supposed to do, I would make more money as a photographer. When it comes to my financial fitness brand, like I've been coaching people for 10 years. I have success stories, 10 years of them, but I haven't gone all in. So that 9 to 5 does make you comfortable. When your bills are paid, when you are comfortable, when everything is good, and then you don't always necessarily have those profitable months in your business. You don't worry about it because you got some money. Right?
I swear to you, I was teaching. So if it was slow at the shop, okay, like it doesn't matter because I know my check coming. Yeah. And so I think a lot of people have anxiety around just going full force because once you jump out the nest, you got to use your own wings.
Trust your wings.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what Bishop T. Jake said, had me crying all over the place. And once I heard that sermon, I said, you gotta trust your wings. And because of that, like that almost feels like we just, you know, like, what do you call it? Set that up. Like, you know, predicted it. But no, I'm trusting my wings. I am starting as of next week a 4-week intensive. Like couple $1,000 intensive to work for 4 weeks on jumping out and trusting my wings. Now I'm going to stay a professor for as long as I can, and y'all pray for FAMU. I'm putting it on record. I can't say much else, but pray for FAMU. But I am moving forward with going bigger, doing better.
And what?
Get ready. Hallelujah. Well, thank you. This has been amazing. I appreciate you. And this has been True Talk.
True Talk. Yeah. True Talk with me and my bestie.
All right. Yeah, y'all. She told me she said, "Oh, you my bestie now." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie.
All right. Bye. Holla.
I love it. It allowed me to see a whole other side to Sloan.